Hello, my fellow learners! I have created this channel to help you on your studies, especially at this point of our study life. Since this channel was just created, kindly subscribe to my channel and click the bell button beside it for you to be notified on the future lessons that we will be taking up. So basically, there are three methods of finding the roots. These are by completing the squares, by using the quadratic formula, and by factoring. So, in this video, we are going to learn about finding the roots of an equation. For now, we will be having completing the squares. For our first example, x squared minus 6x minus 72 is equal to 0. For our first example, let us have x squared minus 6x minus 72 is equal to 0. So our first step is to transfer this. For our first example, let us have x squared minus 6x minus 72 is equal to 0. So our first step is to transfer the third term to the other side of the equation. So this will become x squared minus 6x is equal to, since we are going to transfer the value negative 72 to the other side of the equation, the negative sign will be positive, so this will become 72. And then for the next step in finding the roots, we should do the x squared minus 6x, and we should turn it into a perfect square trinomial. So this will become x squared. This will be the first term. And then copy the sign. For the second term, we should divide the value 6x into 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Copy the x. And since the second term is negative, the third term will be positive. And then for the third term, we should square the value in the second term. So 3 raised to the power of 2 is 9 is equal to, copy 72. And then whatever value you added on the left side of the equation, you should add it also on the right side. So 72 plus 9. And next we should factor this out. X minus 3 raised to 2 is equal to 72 plus 9, and that's 81. So our next goal here is to eliminate this, the power. So in order for us to eliminate that, we should enclose this to the square root. This will be cancelled, this will be cancelled, and we are left out by x minus 3 is equal to, if you have calculators, this will be positive and negative 9. So we should use this to find the roots. So we should break this out. This will become x minus 3 is equal to, first the positive 9. We should separate it. X minus 3 is equal to the negative 9. So finding the first root, x is equal to 9. Transfer negative 3 to the other side of the equation. It will become positive 3. So our first root is 12. For our second root, x is equal to negative 9. Transfer negative 3 plus 3. Our second root is negative 6. So these are the roots of the equation x squared minus 6x minus 72. For our second example, we will have y squared minus 8y minus 105 is equal to 0. So for our second example, let us say y squared minus 8y minus 105 is equal to 0. So, like the first example, we should transfer the third term to the other side of the equation. Y squared minus 8y is equal to 105 since it's negative here. Then, make it the complete, we should apply the completing the squares. Y squared minus 8 divided by 2, since we should divide the second term to have this into a perfect square trinomial. So 4y plus the square of 4, it's 16. So 105 plus 16. And then next we should factor this, y minus 4 squared is equal to 121. In order for us to cancel the power, square root, and cancel, y minus 4 is equal to, put this on your calculator or you can do it mentally. It's positive and negative 11. Break this thing up. Y minus 4 is equal to 11. And y minus 4 is equal to negative 11. So our first root is 11 plus 4. Since we should transfer the negative 4 to the other side of the equation. So our first root is what? It's 15. Next, for our second root, y is equal to negative 11 plus 4. Our second root is negative 7. So these are the roots of the equation y squared minus 8y minus 105. For our example number 3, we have 9x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equal to 0. For our third example, this is 9x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equal to 0. So this equation is a tricky one if we are going to use the completing the squares. So as you can see, this is not yet a perfect square trinomial. So we are going to transform it by dividing the whole equation by whatever number before the variable x on the first term. That's 9. So we can cancel it. So this will become x squared minus 5 over 9x minus 4 over 9 is equal to 0. Next step is to transfer the third term to the other side of the equation. So this will become x squared minus 5 over 9x is equal to 4 over 9 since it's negative. And then next, transform this into perfect square trinomial. So this will become x squared minus, we should divide the second term. In order for us to find the second term, we should divide this into 2. So I will just write it 5 over 9 over 2x plus the square of this value. This is 25 over 81 over 4 plus 4 over 9. 4 over 9. I'm sorry. This should be equals, my mistake, plus the 25 over 81 over 4. Next part is to factor this. X minus 5 over 9 over 2 squared is equal to, if you input this on your calculator, you should have 169 over 324. In order for us to cancel this power, square root, cancel. So x. So now you can input this on your calculator for you. This will become 5 over 18 is equal to positive and negative 13 over 18. Then moving on, break this up. X minus 5 over 18 is equal to a positive 18, and x minus 5 over 18 is equal to negative 13 over 18. So x is equal to 13 over 18 plus 5 over 18. Our first root is 1, since it's 13 plus 5 is 18, then 18 over 18 is 1. Next is x is equal to negative 13 over 18 plus 5 over 18. So this, our second root is negative 4 over 9. So these are the roots of the equation. Example number 4. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. So for our fourth example, we have 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. So like before, we divide this whole equation by 2 since it's the value before the variable x here. Example number 4. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. So for our fourth example, we have 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. So like before, we divide this whole equation by 2 since it's the value before the variable x here. Cancel. X squared minus 5 over 2x plus 3 over 2 is equal to 0. Next is to transfer the third term to the other side of the equation. So this will become x squared minus 5 over 2x is equal to negative 3 over 2 since it's positive. Next, x squared, divide this whole fraction by 2, 5 over 2 over 2 x plus the square of this value. So this is 25 over 4 is equal to negative 3 over 2 plus 25 over 4 over 4. So factor this up, and this will become x minus 5 over 2 squared is equal to 1 over 16 square root. So once you are familiar with the process, you are able to cope up with the situation. This will become x minus 5 over 4 is equal to positive and negative 1/4. Next is to break this equation. This will become x minus 5 over 4 is equal to a positive 1/4. Then x minus 5 over 4 is equal to negative 1/4. So for our first root, 1/4 plus 5 over 4, our first root is 3 over 2. Our second is negative 1/4 plus 5 over 4. Now our second root is 1. So these are the roots for this equation. And now your turn. I have here two equations. 7y squared minus 3y minus 10 is equal to 0. A squared minus 6a minus 216 is equal to 0. Now it's your turn to solve applying what we have learned. Now it's your turn. We have here two equations. 7y squared minus 3y minus 10 is equal to 0. A squared minus 6a minus 216 is equal to 0. Now it's your turn to solve the equations in finding the roots by using what we have been applying before. I have put here the roots which will guide you if your answers are correct or wrong.